Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome in here to another edition of Rover Sports. And today we are going to talk about this dynamic going on in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love and these two quarterbacks that have gotten drafted by the Green Bay Packers. Now, it's very interesting, this whole dynamic between Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love. So you look at Aaron Rodgers, and he's an MVP caliber quarterback. I think he's won maybe 3 MVP awards, 1 Super Bowl championship. He's been to an abundance of NFC championship games off the top of my head, maybe 3 or 4. He had really good chances. He had a good chance last year to beat Tampa, and then he had a chance against Seattle to close the deal out in Seattle. And he couldn't really do that. Now, the team has been successful. They've been playing in a bad division, but the team has still been successful, defeating Matt Nagy, defeating Mike Zimmer, and also defeating Matt Patricia. So the team has still won games with Aaron Rodgers, and with Matt Lafluer, they've done a nice job. Now Aaron Rodgers, kind of out of nowhere, has signaled that he wants a trade. And I'm kind of curious why this ended up happening. It might be because maybe his new girlfriend / maybe future wife doesn't want to live in Wisconsin for 6 months out of the entire year. Now, for Aaron Rodgers, for him to go a little bit, for him to demand this trade request at this stage in the game is certainly, I'm not going to say it's actually surprising, because Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he's had a tumultuous relationship with a lot of ex-teammates. Aaron Rodgers is known, and I don't want to rehash this, but he's known to kind of be a guy that, likes to ruffle feathers, and he had a whole breakup with Mike McCarthy. And Aaron Rodgers at times can be a divisive maybe character. So Aaron Rodgers right now with the Green Bay Packers organization, he wants to leave the organization, and he has resentment towards this GM who selected Jordan Love. Now, I was talking with somebody today, and we had a good conversation about Aaron Rodgers, and we had a good conversation about Jordan Love as well. And we talked about today how that Jordan Love draft pick at number 25 overall, how Aaron Rodgers was so upset, and he was rightfully correct to be upset, because the Green Bay Packers could have selected a wide receiver, or could have selected somebody that can bolster their defense instead of somebody that's going to be in the quarterback room, and drafting your replacement could put a lot of pressure on you. Just the timing of this has been kind of curious. I look at Aaron Rodgers, and he's just bored playing in Green Bay. I mean, you look at Aaron Rodgers, he wins a division every single year, and then he goes and he plays in an NFC championship game, and he doesn't get the job done. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is the type of guy, and I notice even from my own life experiences, that he wants a little something different. He doesn't, always love going back to the same place, and he's a guy that wants new experiences. And this is a guy that moved colleges. This is a guy that kind of lives a fast style of life. And Aaron Rodgers he doesn't want to be boxed in, and I think that that's okay. But now it's very tough, because when you're that good at football, and you're getting paid all this money to play in Green Bay, and you have a successful team, and you have a really good receiver, and you have a coach that you get along with, I understand too why guys are going to say, come on, Aaron, like, hang in there and play football, do your job, be the quarterback for one of the best organizations in all of sports. So I can kind of understand that argument. I can also kind of understand why Aaron was upset with Jordan Love, but this is not the first time. He was upset with Mike McCarthy. His former teammates have also got on Aaron Rodgers as well. He didn't really have a great relationship with Favre. And you start to look at the relationships that Aaron Rodgers has had throughout his life that are very publicly known. And this is a guy that has had rocky relationships with several people at certain stages of life. But you look at Aaron Rodgers and you look at him in Green Bay, and if Aaron Rodgers wants to win a championship, Green Bay is probably the best destination in order to win. I mean, you don't have to play Kansas City. If he were to go to Denver, he'd be playing against the Raiders that have just bolstered their secondary with Gus Bradley. The AFC West is the best division in all of football. You have Justin Herbert. You have a young coach in Brandon Staley that I really believe in. So, and then you're playing in Mile High, and then you look at the weapons that the Denver Broncos have. I mean, they really only have one receiver that really had a great season, and that was Courtland Sutton before he tore his ACL. I mean, they drafted a receiver very high out of Alabama, Jerry Jeudy, who is a good route runner, but he has a lot of trouble with dropping the football. His drop rate was one of the highest in the entire league last year. And also, he had questions publicly via his social media about his quarterback and also about the offensive scheme. In some games, he would go on social media and just say, I just felt like I was running around out there. I didn't even feel like there was any structure. I didn't really feel any enhancement. So it was a little bit rocky with Jerry last year, if we're being completely honest. And then you look at Denver, too, their running back situation. Melvin Gordon put the ball on the ground too much. So you look at Aaron Jones, the offensive line, and Matt Lafluer, and you compare Matt Lafluer to a Pat Shurmur offense. I'm taking Matt Lafleur every day of the week. Then you look at the type of division that you're playing against. I mean, you're playing against a rookie quarterback in Chicago and an aging veteran in Andy Dalton. You're playing against a quarterback in Jared Goff that really can't go outside of schedule. And also it's a first-year coach, an offensive coordinator, and a DC that is really in his first year as a defensive coordinator in Aaron Glenn. And then you look towards the Minnesota Vikings, and this is a team that their defense is still incredibly young. I think Minnesota's going to make awesome improvements. I mean, they did lose Kyle Rudolph, so Irv Smith is going to really have to fill in there on that roster. But you look at their offensive line's getting good. You look at Dalvin Cook, and also you look at just they started so many rookies and they didn't even have camp last year. So they're kind of resetting a little bit. And Mike Zimmer, he wants more time. That's why the Minnesota Vikings drafted Kellen Mond. They wanted Justin Fields. Like, they don't want to pay Kirk Cousins that much. He's an expandable quarterback to them. They think that somebody can go in the system and work with Clint Kubiak over there. So you just analyzing this Rodgers situation, I kind of like it. Of course, like, my dream as a fan of the Giants is, the Eli Manning thing it wasn't perfect, but it was pretty dang close because Eli Manning, he left the game as a Giant forever. Now the last couple of years were certainly rocky with the fan base and rocky with the coaching turmoil and poor line play. And the team wasn't really winning games. The team wasn't. I mean, they got to one playoff game and they got bounced handily in that game. But it is nice when a player sticks it out and is loyal. Loyalty is something that I like. I think it's something that a lot of Packers fans really like. And Brett Favre, was there a very long time, and then they wanted to get out and move on with Aaron Rodgers, and Brett was very old at the time. I think that Aaron, with the McCarthy thing, it wasn't a happy marriage. You look at Aaron only getting the one championship, but we say this stuff about Aaron because Aaron is such a great player. We say this sort of stuff about Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packer organization. So, At first I was really kind of just upset with Aaron Rodgers because I'm like, come on, man, you got the head coach, you got Devontae Adams, you got Aaron Jones, you're getting paid a ton of money, you're one of the best quarterbacks, you're playing at one of the best organizations in all of sports, you're playing in a stadium that people would kill to go for, one of the real relics of American sports in Lambeau Field. You're up there in a state that loves the game of football in Wisconsin. They got the Badgers, but also it's a Packer city. It's a wonderful city to play. It's in the great Midwest. So I like all of the stuff that Green Bay represents: stability, a strong ownership, unbelievable support from the town of Green Bay, and just tradition and really just impeccable success. I mean, one of the top 5 organizations, I'd say, in the NFL easily. So then Aaron Rodgers wants to leave that for a Raiders team that hasn't really been relevant in 20 years, or a Denver team. Now, Denver has good ownership. Denver has been a successful team dating back to John Elway and those teams, and then with Peyton Manning, and they weren't bad during the Cutler era. So Aaron Rodgers and Vic Fangio, I don't know if those two would necessarily get along. I think Aaron and Gruden would be okay for like a year or two, but they also have Derek Carr, so then it's like, where is Aaron going to necessarily go? Could it be to the New York Giants? I mean, that would certainly be interesting, but now we're talking about, where is Aaron going to go? And if you're Green Bay, do you just simply continue to hold on to Aaron Rodgers? And again, how far along is Jordan Love? And I'm excited to eventually see Jordan Love. And what Jordan has to do, I think Jordan can definitely come in there. And the more Aaron's kind of shaking it up, the more Jordan Love is going to be really respected, and the Green Bay fans are going to rally around him, because this is a guy in Aaron Rodgers. Again, he's on the doorstep of a championship. They're right there. The chemistry, the team is unbelievable. And they hosted a game, and they were 30 minutes away from getting to a Super Bowl and possibly beating Kansas City in that game. So you look at Mike Pettin, you look at how the defense has improved, you look at the secondary that has been drafted by Lafluer, and a young coach and a team and an adaptable play style and an offense that Aaron has down really good. I mean, so it's a lot. It's a lot. Is the grass always greener? But again, Aaron Rodgers, he's allowed to, I guess, voice his opinions, but we're also allowed to question it. We're allowed to kind of also relate to him. It's very tough when you draft somebody to take your job. A lot of people complained about Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts. I guess I would compare the situation differently, because Aaron Rodgers happens to be 37, and how many quarterbacks are necessarily playing well, into their late 30s. So I do get the people that say, come on, Aaron, like, I don't want to use this term, but people are like, come on, Aaron, stick out your commitment to Matt LaFleur, stick out your commitment to the Green Bay Packer organization. And continue to don the yellow and gold of Green Bay, and continue to play football out there in Wisconsin in the fall. I get people that say that and that want that sentiment about Aaron Rodgers, and for him to stop complaining, and for him to be more subservient, for him to kind of serve his teammates as the quarterback, for him to be all in with these receivers, with the offensive line, with the running back. Because right now, they're probably not getting the best. They're not getting the best interaction from Aaron Rodgers right now. I think that they feel like Aaron's above the team, that he wants to get out, and he's not entrenched into the culture that Matt LaFleur is trying to set for this program and for this team. I totally get that, and I kind of lean a little bit towards that way. This guy has had, some issues, getting along with people and sustaining relationships throughout his tenure in this NFL. So that's the thing with Aaron. Kind of a tough guy to get along with from the outside, and you will never know. I mean, nobody really knows Aaron except for the people that know Aaron and know the Green Bay Packers, and you're rarely going to hear that stuff ever come out. Maybe in a memoir that comes out in 20 years, you're going to hear about this story about Aaron Rodgers. So It's certainly interesting. I think that they have a successful team. I think that they're a really good organization. At the same time, you look at Aaron Rodgers, and he did so much for this team, and then they drafted Jordan Love, and he felt completely betrayed by that. And now Jordan Love's just sitting there, and he doesn't feel like maybe this regime really believes in him, and he wants something new in his life because he's been somewhere for so long. He served the city of Green Bay for an incredible long time. He's led them to just really great success. I think he's really played amazing football. He's had a Hall of Fame career for the Green Bay Packers, and it certainly has been a gigantic success from Brett Favre and his legendary career going to Aaron Rodgers and his legendary career. So I get that point from Aaron. I kind of lean the side of you're playing in Green Bay. You got a couple more years. Go out and try to win a ring and then kind of get out. And I mean, it is a little sad that for Aaron, he might want to discover a new offense. He might want to be around new teammates. He wants a new exposure to a new city. And he wants kind of a new life. He wants a lifestyle that's a little bit different than the same thing that he's experiencing. So as fans, we want these guys to stay in one city for a very long time. And as players, they want to dabble in different cities and different situations and circumstances. So it's very tough. It's tough on these players. It's tough on Matt Lafluer. It's tough on the Green Bay Packers that your superstar player wants to leave. It's going to be a little tough on Jordan because Jordan, you look at 4 and you look at number 12, and number 10 now is supposed to come in there, and he's supposed to bring about success for this organization and keep this train moving. So it's up to whoever the Packers believe that Jordan in these practices is good enough to take over, be a starting caliber quarterback, and compete with Minnesota for this division championship. It's really up to the Green Bay Packers, and only Matt Lafleur and only these wide receivers and only the guys on the defense are going to really know, is Jordan Love ready to take this thing over? And if he is, you grab 3 first-round picks, you bolster the defense, you maybe get a really good player from Denver, and if Jordan Love is ready to step in and play some good ball, I mean, then you can get some offensive line, you get some good picks, and then Jordan Love for the next couple of years. I mean, you get rid of Aaron Rodgers in that contract. I mean, you look at Green Bay, and Rodgers has done very, very well, but the NFC is going to get even better than even last year's playoffs are going to represent. I mean, the Saints might be revamped again. I don't think Carolina's going to contend, but Atlanta has a really interesting young coach. So there are teams in the NFC that are going to make a run. I mean, maybe the New York Giants, if they get their quarterback and their offense situation figured out, they really have some coordinators and some defensive pieces that are incredibly intriguing to see them compete in this NFC. The 49ers certainly have pieces. You can't count out Sean McVay, and you can't count out what he has done with that offense. And it's going to be fascinating to see if Cam Akers can really ascend in his second year in this NFL. So there's a lot of things that are going on in the National Football League and with the Green Bay Packers right now, the balance of power. And with Aaron Rodgers and his complicated relationship with not only the media, not only his teammates, but the Green Bay Packers. And maybe the GM that drafted Jordan Love saw this day coming. He said, this guy Aaron Rodgers is an older quarterback. He hasn't played at the level that we expected him to. We just got killed by the San Francisco 49ers. We look at this kid from Utah State, and he has mobility, he has big hands, he can throw the football. He can throw it from different arm angles. He seems like a nice kid, seems like a really good kid to his sisters, seems like a great kid from California, and he stuck it out at Utah State even when Matt Wells left him high and dry to go to Texas Tech. So they look at this kid, Jordan Love from Utah State, and this kid on tape, his upside is massive, Jordan Love's upside. And maybe the Green Bay Packers and their GM, maybe they noticed in the draft that this guy, Jordan Love, if Jordan Love is the player that he was in college to the NFL, you're talking about a Pro Bowl really special quarterback. You're talking about a guy that can create explosive plays in the passing game. So I'm incredibly interested to see how Devontae Adams, to see how this team's going to gel, because then if Aaron now comes back in the offseason, he's somehow going to have a lot of explaining to do because he's kind of dug his heels in against his team, against the teammates, and against the GM, and against everybody. He is a star player. He was upset about the Jordan Love thing. I think any human being would kind of be upset. He had an unbelievable season where he proved all the doubters wrong in the process. So there's a lot of different angles to look at Aaron Rodgers and this whole Green Bay Packers situation, because this is one of the best players in the league playing for an iconic franchise, following in Brett Favre's footsteps. It's incredible, to go back and see how Brett Favre ended up leaving the Green Bay Packers to go to the Vikings, and how this guy came in and lit it up immediately when his time was called. He sat for 4 years, and it's incredible how he grew within himself and grew for this organization. And I think that some fans, I'd say that Brett maybe was more lovable and loyal to the Green Bay Packers. He definitely showed more emotion after touchdown passes, kind of celebrating with teammates. But Aaron Rodgers, in a sense, is more consistent in terms of how he protects the ball, how he can go through progressions. I mean, Aaron he does play different. He uses his wit more than improvisation. And Aaron Rodgers, I mean, his footwork and the way that he could slide and throw, yes. And then the emotional component of Brett, I'd say Brett, it's very close, but Brett was probably more talented, just pure thrower of the ball. And he did have just natural feel for the game. And of course, he had legendary coaches that were working with him, with Andy Reid and Mariucci. And I mean, this Green Bay Packers team, they've been spoiled by just exceptional quarterback play. I mean, you look at the Colts went from Manning to Luck, but Luck did not last in the NFL. So this Packers team, and then in the division, I mean, the Bears had a couple of really good years. The Vikings, they had a couple nice years with Mike Zimmer, but they had Adrian Peterson. They never really had the defense and the quarterback that can really go compete with Aaron and Brett. So, I mean, it's going to be fascinating. And then when Jordan takes over this thing, it's going to be must-see TV, if Jordan's going to be playing this year. In the preseason games, I mean, that's where it's valuable to have 4 preseason games to get repetition down and really to bolster Jordan Love's confidence. So anyway, I enjoyed talking about this topic. I hope you guys maybe viewed some of the video. Take care, and thank you guys so much.